Hey guys, Churro here and welcome back to another video. So if you've been playing Battlefront 2 for a while now and have stumbled upon this term called parrying and have tried it yourself and sort of want to improve on it and not just sitting behind a block and waiting for your enemy to spam you, then you have come to the right place. This video I will be teaching you guys 9 tips on how to properly use your parries like a pro in Battlefront 2. Before anything else, make sure you guys subscribe because I will be making more content like this. Like the video, it really helps me out a lot. And thank you for the support for these past few videos. I love you guys, and without any further ado, let's get into the video. So this first tip will apply to almost anyone, experienced or not with parrying, but I'm going to be talking about timing. So learning how to time your parries is not the easiest thing, but it's also not the hardest because it comes over time. You start to have this gut feeling that you can anticipate when an enemy is going to attack you. But the thing is, you won't get the parry the first time, so if your enemy starts attacking you consistently and with a pattern, then you can start parrying them back. Now these next few tips are going to be the pro tips that probably beginners with the parry still don't know how to do or want to improve on. So number 2, the turnaround parry. Now the turnaround parry pretty much is self-explanatory. Turn around and parry your opponent. Now this usually happens when you have a dueler that spams the dodge behind you and then attack you from behind type of move. So to counter this, just do these simple moves, wait for them to sort of get close to you. And here's the tip: whenever an enemy is starting to close in on you, always know that they will always be trying to try to dodge behind you and hit you from behind. So one way to counter this is wait for them to dodge behind you, quickly turn your camera, anticipate them, wait for their attack to begin, and then as soon as they raise their lightsaber, as soon as they press that attack button, quickly parry it, and you will see that you have damaged that player and he will probably learn his lesson to not keep on dodging behind you and trying to hit you from there. Number 3, baiting parries. Immediately after everyone starts learning how to parry, they just sit behind their block, waiting for their opponent to start swing spamming. But you don't really have to do that always, as you can start baiting parries. To bait a parry, all you have to do is of course have an enemy that knows how to parry, or has a little bit of knowledge about it. Swing once, pause for a second, wait for them to start their attack, because the thing is, if you start attacking them in a consistent manner, in a consistent pattern, they will start to parry you. So attack them for only one time, wait for a second, and then wait for them to sort of attack their parry attack, which is of course going to be blocked by you, and then you go ahead and attack him, which causes them to be parried by your attack. Now this move is pretty easy to do in my opinion. If you start getting the hang of it, it's pretty much a basic thing to do. I do it every time, even to Vaders that swing spam. And I would say that this is probably the most basic tip that you should learn when you're a beginner with parries, because you cannot always hide behind those blocks. You're always going to have to start baiting those parries. Number 4, the jump parry. Out of all these parry techniques, this is probably the hardest to do as it requires the most luck. I've only done this once or twice in my Battlefront 2 sort of career, but here's a little clip where I do the jump parry. I'm fighting this Vader, I'm blocking, and like I said, this requires the most luck. So try to anticipate when your enemy is going to attack, and then press your jump button only once. Don't do a forced jump. And then there's this small little window where you're mid-air with your jump, but you're still holding down your block. Pro opponents will immediately notice this or sort of anticipate that this is a hook swing, so they will try to attack you. But like I said, just tap the jump button once and you will only do a small sort of bunny hop. And with that small window that you're still holding your block with, you can parry your opponent back if they try to attack you, if they anticipate that you're trying to do a hook swing, but you're actually not, you're just doing a jump parry. This tip, like I said, requires the most luck, so don't try to do it every time, as this Vader possibly could have choked me, but I just dodged a bullet there. Number 5, parrying abilities. This is probably something that has been talked about around, as some people don't believe that an ability like Dooku's Stun Lightning cannot be parried, but if you can see right here on my footage, I do parry a Dooku Lightning. And this next one, I parry a Kylo Pull and a Kylo Freeze. So this is pretty much self-explanatory. After your opponent uses their ability while you're holding your block, just quickly hit them. This is also a pretty good way to practice your timing, as these abilities won't really do damage to you if you hold down your block, unlike practicing your timing with other lightsaber attacks. Number 6. How to get out of parries. So if you ever get stuck on parries and you realize that you're the one taking damage, just pause for 1 second, hold your block, and as your opponent is parrying you in a consistent pattern, you can turn it around and use that pattern to parry them back. As you can see here in this footage, I sort of initiate the attack first, but I realize that I'm getting damaged, so I pause for a quick second and then return back the parry to them. Now these next few tips will be specifically for heroes only. So there will be specific hero abilities here that we will be learning how to parry. Number 7. Parrying spin, rush, and dash attacks. If you don't already know, you can actually parry Luke's rush, Yoda's dash, and Maul's spin attack by anticipating when they would hit you. This is probably one of the easiest parries to do, as these dash and rush and spin attacks sort of have that little window that you can see them rushing towards you, and as soon as you see that little animation, just anticipate when they'll hit you and then hit the attack, and then you will parry the player that is using these abilities on you. You can also try to follow up with an attack behind them, which is good if you're using someone, say like Obi-Wan, that has a really good lunge distance, can immediately hit that opponent twice behind the back. Number 8. Parrying Kylo's Frenzy. Now, parrying the Frenzy is pretty easy, but it's also pretty tricky as well. As you notice, the Frenzy does look similar to a regular Kylo attack, but I can give you some tips about that. If you're far away from that Kylo, then it's pretty much easy to distinguish a Frenzy from a normal attack. If he uses the Frenzy, he will quickly leap forward you, and he does this little scream of anger that will let you know that the Frenzy is active. So, self-explanatory, just start parrying the Frenzy, and here's the thing. The last attack of Kylo is always a guaranteed hit, but if you dodge it perfectly, he will not hit you. So, make up your mind. If you're low on health, definitely just dodge, or if you're high on health and the Kylo is low, then you can take the risk and parry the last hit that will guarantee a hit on you, but also will guarantee a hit on the Kylo. Last but not the least, you can actually parry Grievous's Thrust Surge and Claw Rush. So this one is also pretty self-explanatory, but you can actually parry Grievous's Thrust Surge by pressing the attack button right before the attack hits you. Now I do have to remind you that it's really hard to get the parry if you attack after the surge hits. So I recommend anticipating the moment before it hits you to get the parry. Also, you can do a second attack after parrying Grievous's Thrust Surge. You can see here in this clip that after I parry the Thrust Surge, there's this little window of time that Grievous has been stunned and you can actually hit him because you just parried him with his Thrust Surge. Same goes for parrying his Claw Rush, but this is also pretty tricky to do, as sometimes it will just knock you down after doing one parry, which pretty much happens to me every time, but when you get the hang of it, when you learn how to do it, you can pretty much do it at all times and can damage the Grievous, especially if he's using the Claw Rush to sort of escape when he's low in health. Then you can finish him off. So that's pretty much it for learning these pro moves. I hope you enjoyed these tips, and of course, most importantly, I hope you learned something new from this video, especially that jump parry. I never knew that was a thing until I started doing it. That is something that is unique to this video. I don't think any video on YouTube has ever done that before, but yeah, make sure you guys try these tips out so you can use your parries like a pro in Battlefront 2. Thank you guys for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe this video. It really helps me out a lot. We are on our way to 500 subscribers, And thank you guys for the ongoing and continued support. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.
My troops could finish you. You have lost. Halt!
I bet that made Kylo Ren angry.